Mark Steyn is a writer, a columnist, and a regular sub for Rush Limbaugh on the radio, and he joins us tonight. Did you have the same reaction I did, which is, boy, this is making me uncomfortable. I feel sorry for this person.
Well, that was my first reaction. My second reaction, Tucker, was to say, if I ever run for president, I want these same Macedonian campaign consultants who are the geniuses. That's who the Russians go to when they want to really sew up a presidential campaign.
That's too good. Have you noticed, we're making fun of Hillary Clinton, and actually my sympathy for her is sincere because I thought this was deranged, what she said today. But she's not the first. She's the third Democratic presidential candidate in a row to lose and still make the case, I didn't actually lose. Kerry made that case. Gore made that case. Do you see a theme here? Well,
in fairness, Al Gore and John Kerry lost to conventional candidates. What Donald Trump did was unprecedented. He'd never been elected to the school board. He had no ground game. He spent less money than anybody since Chester Arthur. He veered erratically off message, so sometimes he'd be talking about Make America Great Again, and 10 minutes later he'd be going on about how Macy's stock has tanked since they stopped carrying Trump ties, and yet somehow he manages to beat the most qualified candidate ever to run for the presidency of the United States. And the Democrats and the candidate herself just can't accept that this happened. And in a sense, they're right. If it was a military campaign, they'd be teaching it at staff colleges across the world for the next 2 centuries.
Well, I think that's a fair point. No, you're making a great point. I mean, this is a pretty conventional defense mechanism, psychological reaction to it. I wish it weren't dragging our foreign policy down along with it, though.
No, and I think that's true. I mean, if you were Putin at this stage, let's say that Trump is a Russian agent. If you were Putin, you'd have to think you'd actually got a twofer, because right now Hillary is telling the American people whatever happens, the Russians are behind it. That's how cunning they are. That's how their power is so all-pervasive. Later in that bizarre performance, she starts going on about how Cambridge Analytica, this data mining group, apparently insisted, in return for providing Trump with data, that he hire Kellyanne Conway and Steve Bannon. So as Hillary sees it, Kellyanne Conway is some kind of Soviet honey trap who's at the heart of this of this campaign. I don't even understand that, because Cambridge Analytica, as I understand it, was set up by some British company. So the plot thickens, because now we've got rogue double agents from MI6, probably Kim Philby, if you remember.
And Anthony Blunt.
Cold War day. I mean, but that's the thing. And what you have to ask is, who's behind the Russians? Well, it's this Cambridge Analytica. So it's the British behind the but who's behind the British? Well, it's the Macedonians. They're behind everything.
But I guess what's so ludicrous about this is they're blaming the Trump campaign's collusion with Russia. Now, the Russians, whatever their skills, can't build a reliable escalator. I don't think they could pull this off. And the Trump campaign was pure message. That's all they had. They had no money. They were disorganized deeply in a lot of ways. There's no way they could have. I mean, if you know anything about how it actually happened, this is insane.
Well, the fantastic thing about the Trump campaign, if you forgive me coming the unassimilated foreigner on you, Tucker, but presidential politics, the conventions had gotten so hopelessly boring. And Hillary ran an utterly conventional campaign. She paid talentless, mediocre people large sums of money to do the same things they've done for every other candidate. And Trump just comes along, he's bored stiff by all that, and it says he just does it his way and blows all those stupid conventions out of the water. And the Republicans hated him for doing that, and the Democrats still can't actually believe he did it.
Mark Steyn, you are single-handedly making me pro-immigration, at least in your case. Thank you for joining us tonight.
More Macedonian immigrants, Tucker. That's what we need.
They're already here. Oh! Thanks, Mark.